Story time on how me and my stepdad were doing the nasty and my mom walked in on us. Okay, so boom. I was 18 at the time and my stepdad was 40. My stepdad been with my mom for like 2 years and it's only the 3 of us in the house. My stepdad always treated me well and gave me lots of money. Every time my mom would tell me no, here comes my stepdad to the rescue, turning that to a yes. Me and my stepdad were alone together a lot and it would be very flirty between us. As the days went by, we got flirtier and flirtier and farther and farther. It started off as flirting, then we cuddled, and then cuddling turned into making out. I literally couldn't wait till my mom goes to work so I could spend time with him. My mom didn't suspect a thing. When my mom was home, I barely talked to my stepdad and I always stayed in my room. At this point, me and my stepdad didn't do the nasty yet, but this night I was gonna make sure it happened. Cause I seen my stepdad kiss my mom goodbye and I was pissed. Once she left, I turned it up. Like for part 2.
PSA. For all the motherfuckers on Valentine's Day in a relationship, you're so cute, and I actually rate this. I rate that you celebrate each other publicly, and I rate that you're so comfortable and you're so cute together. I love it. Get each other gifts. Do all of that, please. But I don't want to see you inside each other on social media. I was on Snapchat just now, minding my fucking business. I was actually living my life. I felt so good. I feel sick now. I've just seen my friend's tongue go so far down his girl's throat that she actually went like this. Ugh. She choked. And my man posted it and was like, it's Valentine's Day. Baby, I know it's Valentine's Day, but there's no excuse to be playing tonsil tickle like that. It's not OnlyFans. Okay, I didn't sign up for this. If you're making a private Snapchat, you do that. I'm sure someone will subscribe. It won't be me. And I have to block you now. You've ruined my day. Love Valentine's Day though. Happy Valentine's Day.
One day I went to my friend's birthday party. We're gonna call her Jazzy. Well, I'm at the party and then Jazzy's dad pulls me aside and he's like, can we talk in private? I was like, yeah, of course, because I thought it was gonna be like a gift for Jazzy. So long story short, he pulls me aside and it gets so motherfucking weird. Like homeboy starts holding my hand and he's like, I always thought you were one of Jazzy's most beautiful friends. Age is just a number. I don't really like my wife. And I was like, that's disgusting. So I got to the point where I got really uncomfortable. I ran away and I went to go tell Jazzy's mom what her husband was telling me. So I go tell her, right? This is the best part. So I go to tell Jazzy's mom and she's like, thank you for telling me. I'm gonna take care of it. Here's this water, drink it. Like, you're probably so overwhelmed right now. So I remember I drank the water and I felt dizzy and tingly. Next thing I know, I'm in the hospital because Jazzy's mom put poison in my...
Worst way to get cheated on Storytime ever. This is not my story. The story is from a follower. Everybody always noticed all these red flags in my boyfriend Carl, but of course I did not see it. Everybody always felt like he was faking his affection towards me, and for some reason I just did not see that. I'm like, I love him and y'all can go get a life. Then it went from him faking his affection to us not being affectionate at all. Like, we went months without any physical intimacy. So I went to go talk to my dad about it to get a male's perspective, and he was completely on Carl's side. Like, maybe he's just busy at work, blah, blah, blah. Every excuse in the world. So I was like, well, Dad, do you think you can talk to him and see where his head's at? He agreed really fast. He said, I'll invite him over later to talk, but you can't be here because I don't want your presence to throw him off. I was like, okay. So they're talking for about an hour, but about an hour into it, I realized that me and Carl had a movie date planned. So I used my spare key and went back into the house. They weren't in the living room. So I went upstairs and saw the worst thing I could have possibly seen. Him cheating on me with my father.
Story time. Every year, my family is in charge of putting up the Christmas tree in our local church. Every year, my grandpa would come and help until the year he sadly died. So, for the first time, me, my uncle, dad, and little sister, who was 3 at the time, went to the church alone. The decorations for the tree are stored in the basement of the church, so we went to go and get them. To get into the basement, there are about 20 concrete steps going down into a dark room. But my little sister didn't know this and walked straight through the door and fell all the way down the concrete steps. My uncle and dad were obviously terrified she would have seriously injured herself or even worse and went running down after her, but when they found her, she was completely uninjured and unfazed. The scary part of the story is when my dad asked her if she was okay, she said, somebody caught me. And since then, we've always thought that my great-grandpa might have been with us all along.
So it's Friday night, it's Roxy's birthday weekend, and we're all going to her house for the first time ever for our group sleepover. So we get there, and honestly, everything seemed really normal at first. Roxy's house was really nice, and honestly, I was confused why she never wanted us there before. So then we start making banana bread, and all of a sudden, Laura jumps and screams and runs to the other side of the kitchen. She's like, "Did you guys feel that?" And we're all like, "What are you talking about, Laura?" She's like, "I swear something just touched my lower back." And Laura's face turned really pale, like she was genuinely scared, and we spend the next hour convincing her that no one was there, no one touched her back. So then we start watching a movie, Disturbia. Shout out to Shia LaBeouf. And Nina goes to the bathroom, and when she comes back, she's like, "Roxy, it looks like something upstairs is maybe leaking because there's this massive wet stain on your bathroom wall." And Roxy's like, "Oh, don't worry, that stain's always there." She's like, "We actually can't figure out where it's coming from. We've had plumbers come and they can't figure it out either. There's no drain or pipe or anything that could be causing a leak at that part of the house anyway." And then Roxy says, "But that's why we think our house is haunted." We all look at her kind of shocked, and she's like, "Yeah, that's why I never invited you guys to sleep over, because it can get kind of creepy." But honestly, at that point, I wasn't that creeped out until we went to bed, because that's when stuff started getting weird.
This is why you should never leave the table when you're on a blind date. One of my best friends and I worked at the same restaurant. When I came in later that day for my shift, she told me a crazy story. She said that her first table were this guy and this girl, and she could tell they were on a first date. The girl was nervous, so she ordered a glass of wine. As far as she knew, the date seemed to be going well, and the girl got up to go to the bathroom. Right when my friend was about to come over and bring the silverware, she saw him put something in her wine. My friend, obviously terrified and freaking out, let our manager know, who then let the police know, and ran into the bathroom to tell her what was going on. The girl ended up staying in the bathroom until the police came, arrested him, and escorted him out of the building. It was noon on a Tuesday. You don't think you're going to be drugged at noon on a Tuesday.
Storytime of how I found out that my boyfriend was sleeping with his stepsister. As crazy as it sounds, I literally just found the whole situation funny. So I was dating this kid, let's just name him Mark, for about a year and a half. He had a bunch of step-siblings, and they were all younger except one girl that was 16. She was very protective over my boyfriend, but I honestly kind of thought that was just normal, you know? She would always make up some strange excuse why she had to hang out with me and my boyfriend, so we honestly never could hang out alone. They were siblings, so I would never think anything of it. I honestly thought they were just really close. Then one day she said something really weird, and it made me start to think. I seen him slap her butt a couple of times. I kept my opinions to myself at first because, you know, he's my boyfriend and I didn't want to start an argument, but then I said something. His reply was, "Stop overthinking, she's just my sister." Okay, well, if she's just your sister, why are you smacking her butt? Anyways, one night he wasn't replying to me for like 3 hours and I thought he was asleep. So I log into his Snap to spam cute pictures of me and his memories, and I found videos. Disturbing videos. I'm running out of time, like for part.
This is how I met my soulmate without ever actually speaking to him. I work at a small family-owned ice cream shop. This really cute guy would come in every Friday around 5. I never actually took his order, as I was the one making the cones and sundaes behind the counter. He would always tell my coworker taking the orders, "I want whatever she's in the mood to make. Tell her to surprise me." And he would point me out. My coworker would deliver the message, and he would look at me and smile. Each Friday when he came in, he would say, "I'll have my regular order, whatever she wants to make." I made him something different every week. I try to be creative and give him something new and fun every time. I would try really hard not to look over at his booth, but I would always catch myself staring. He started leaving me little flirty messages on his receipt with a small cash tip at his table. I started to write back on his orders with caramel or chocolate sauce on his plate the best I could. However, it wasn't very legible or practical, so I started giving him flirty little sticky notes with his order. It made my Fridays really fun and something to look forward to. I was waiting for him to ask me for my number or to ask me out on a date so we could actually talk to each other. This went on for weeks until he finally made the cutest move ever.
Hey, ok, hoy les traigo un story time de la tía Chofas, o sea, yo. Pues tipo, me fui de viaje a Los Ángeles, y no sé si les pasa, pero yo no puedo cagar en casas ajenas, y menos si es en la casa del güey que me gusta. Y de que me quedé en casa del güey que me gusta por un mes. Y yo decía, ay güey, si cago y huele, o si tapo el baño, ay güey, no, ya no voy a hola mi amor, oye, te tapé el baño, ay, este olor, no, pues que sí que cagué, no, o sea, no. Y total que ya cuando ya no aguantaba más, hacía planes con una amiga que vive allá igual para poder pasar a su baño, güey. Porque al final, si tapo el baño de mi amiga, me da menos pena que con mi crush, oye. Todavía me acuerdo que el güey me decía, oye, yo nunca te veo que vayas al baño. Y yo no, las princesas no cagan, oye. Y bueno, ya total, ya cuando ya regresé a mi casa acá en Ciudad de México, no, me pasé como yo creo que 1 hora en el baño y mi panza me lo agradeció un chingo. La tía Chofas es una guerrera.
Story time. So just when I thought dating couldn't get any worse, surprise, it did. I went on this date. It was like a FaceTime date the other night with this guy, and it was going okay at first. It was a little bit awkward, but It was fine. Pretty soon into the date, he asked me what my type was. And I said, well, I don't really have a type. Like, you know, all my exes are pretty different, which is true. And then I asked him what his type was. He looked me straight in the eyes and said to me, well, normally I go for really strong, motivated, and independent women, but they're all pretty heartless. So I'm trying something different.